Hello there and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sport. And some very, very interesting news. And that is that from 2025, we may no longer see the Springboks take on the All Blacks with both teams wearing their primary kits colours. That being the black for the All Blacks and the green and gold of the Springboks, which is going to be pretty interesting. And it's caused quite a lot of widespread debate this morning. And it's going to be interesting to see how these sort of events unfold over the next 2 years. There's also been a response from SARU Rugby where they are rejecting this concept, and apparently the All Blacks are also not particularly impressed with the potential idea. So before we sort of dive into exactly what's happening, why it's happening, how it's happening, and what the SARU Rugby response has been, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So basically, this is all comes down to the issue of people or spectators that have color deficiency issues with their vision. And World Rugby are introducing a policy post 2025 whereby you have to play in distinguishing kits which will work for those who suffer with color vision deficiency, which is known as CVD. And apparently the policy is going to, at this stage, come in effect into 2025. And that basically means that whenever you look at your home and away kit, it's not good enough just to be like, they're very good contrasting kits, that they have to potentially be either a light or a dark kit or whatever, and they have to be different colors, so where those that color deficiencies can appropriately see who's who and be able to sort of see the difference. Now, this would mean that a dark green kit of the Springboks and a black kit of the All Blacks would clash with those who have color vision deficiency. As a result, it would mean that when the Springboks take on the All Blacks at any World Rugby event, one of the teams would have to wear an alternative kit, which means that the Springboks would have to potentially wear a white kit, or the All Blacks would have to wear potentially a white kit. And it's not going down with a lot of people who have said that for years and years and years. It's been the green and gold versus the blacks or the All Blacks, and it's that's how it's always been. That's the big tradition and stuff like that, and that's how we want it to be. So it's a very interesting scenario, and it's not unique to rugby. It's just something that's been happening in quite a lot of sports. For example, the English Football League made provisions where they've allowed home sides to be able to work with to wear their alternative kit, for example, if they feel that the kit of the team coming in is going to clash with those who have color vision deficiency. In the NFL, they've taken steps to ensure that this isn't an issue as well. So it's not a new thing specifically to rugby. And it has been something quite a big push over the last couple of years where there have been some very important games where those with color vision deficiency just haven't been able to see the difference between the people. But it's a very, very big change, and people don't like change. For a start, people never like change. People really like tradition, stuff like that. And it's as I said, for somebody who grew up watching the green and gold versus the All Blacks in black, it was like that was how it is. That's just what it is. That's how it is. It's the whole rivalry, all the games, are sort of all the photos from all the years are these two colors. So it's an interesting change, and it's difficult because I don't have a color. I'm not color vision deficient, so I can see them. But you sit there going, well, imagine not being able to watch the biggest rugby game in the world every year properly because you can't see who's who. That's the biggest thing, isn't it? Put yourselves in the shoes of someone who does struggle and sits there watching the All Blacks versus the Springboks and can't enjoy it because they can't see the difference between the teams. And it's not ideal. And I suppose, you're sitting there thinking, well, is it that big of a deal? And that's what we have to decide. You have to decide how big of a deal is it to change the kits, and is it worth it? Is it worth it to make sure that anybody can watch the game? But apparently SARU Rugby have come out and they're going to reject it. So Rian Alberholz, the CEO of SARU Rugby, apparently said this to the Daily Maverick. He said, while SARU Rugby supports World Rugby's ambition to make rugby as inclusive as possible, that whole thing about anything they say before but or while doesn't really mean. We have serious reservations about the potential impacts the application of the colour blindness regulations may have and believe they need further interrogation. For instance, it would mean that the Springboks and All Blacks would never meet again with both in their primary colours at any World Rugby event. The guidelines say that if only one person on the sidelines of the school field is having troubles following some elements of the game due to an unavoidable kit clash, then rugby is letting them down. But we believe that some or all of the 11 out of 12 males and the 199 out of 200 women who are not colorblind on the statistical base presented may also feel let down if the time-honored traditions of the game are lost, setting aside the potential damage to the equity established in those colors and brands over centuries. We believe the impact on the game's broader support base also needs to be considered. We will continue to engage with World Rugby on the subject. That for me is a very, very tricky and slippery slope because they're basically quite vehemently saying we don't care. Let's be honest. That statement is literally saying we do not care about those with color vision deficiency. That's what it means. It's basically saying, yeah, some people can't enjoy it, but most people can. So, we've got commercial interests, that we need to serve. We've got, there's long-standing tradition. So at the end of the day, if there are, 312 people there and 2 of them can't enjoy it, shame, poor them. Not a great argument, is it? It's they're sitting there going for commercial value and they're saying, money-wise, we have to do it like this. So, you're then sitting there going, okay, well, fine. But to basically blatantly say that they don't care is not a great argument and a great position to take. So it's interesting. I don't understand. I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know what the right answer is. And look, I think, maybe we need to, I think a big investigation needs to go into it. And you need to you need to be proactive about this. And I think my frustration with SARU Rugby is, as usual, is we don't come out and say, we're gonna take this on board, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna see how we can make this work. It's no, we will not be changing our kit type thing, which is a bit frustrating because you have to be able to adapt at the end of the day, and we do want to try and make rugby as inclusive as possible. So it's difficult, as I said, as someone who doesn't have color vision deficiency, it's easy for me to say, well, it doesn't really matter. But again, as a passionate rugby fan, imagine you couldn't watch the Springboks versus All Blacks and enjoy it properly. You'd be devastated. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but that's why I'm interested to see what everybody else says. So let me know down in the comments where you are. Is it such a big thing, to make it more available to everybody else to change kits, or are we just absolutely determined that tradition is how it's been, it's how we like it, it's, visually it's what we want to see, and therefore that's it. Hopefully as technology comes, broadcasts will find a way almost of maybe manipulating kind of stuff like that to make it more visually stimulating or visually different or contrasting for those, but obviously that wouldn't work for those who are in stadium. So I don't know, who knows. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash the like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.